Recently, I've heard that by drinking the hot tea or any hot liquid, you can magically open the throat and then you can speak better. We will experiment with that. But I have a question for you. What if you would get scammed by fake insurance guys? And do we have an insurance against fake insurance? Would that be Jyotish? If you would have yoga and timings, could you prevent that? I already see that in the comments. Oh, this is post-mortem analysis. Everyone can justify it. It's hard to predict. That's true, but we are also doing the autopsy in the medical studies. We try to get the experience. We try to correlate those facts, and then it would be better with predicting. So let's see what we got today. And again, we got the agreement to share the key to the recipe from our today's clients. Let's see some investigations, or we are the detectives of the resources. And today, one person on the Discord, by the way, you can join our Discord community, the link is in the description, wrote about one quote from 16 years ago. I wrote, curses are very important to cure, especially if they are activated in the Mula Dasha. I'm always concerned about one mantra which can cure all the doshas in the chart. So that was already after my philosophy studies. But before Parashara course, before the Jaimini course, at least the ending of the Jaimini course. But nevertheless, it's very interesting to see that journey from 16 years ago. But this quote is very important in today's video because it's like a karma map. And we are seeing how one yoga will give effect to at least 5 events, and we can see those details. So we will learn how we can distinguish, how we can get better information, what exactly the event will be and when we can suspect them. And I will try to give you the best thing about those rules, so you will be like a bee collecting the nectar. So we have the Taurus Lagna. By the way, the Lagna, the ascendant is at the border. After putting the birth details, it's a beautiful feeling. You have 29 degrees. Wow, it's so nice. No rectification is needed, right? We have the moon in 6th, Chitra Nakshatra and Chaturthi Tithi. Chaturthi is the Rikta Tithi that by itself demands some form of remedy. For that exact, we have given the Ganesha remedy. We have Arudha Lagna and Leo, and Atma Karaka is the Mercury in the 9th house. So the specialization, the studies, everything before the great life would be very important for that native because the spirit is there. The Atma Karaka is in the 9th. Mars and Saturn is in the combust, so very close to the sun. And we have also Mercury in this Sandhi, so it's the last degree. If it's between fire and water, this Sandhi is called Gandanta, and it's can be quite dangerous for health and other matters. And in the Navamsha, we have Mercury in the Virgo in the ascendant. I have not changed anything. Because the Rashi is at the border, normally we should start with the rectification, or how I call it, the calibration. We are trying to calibrate all of these positions so we can depend on these positions because they are properly has from the past, so we can depend on them for predicting the future. And this is a very close concept to shimming lenses in videography. If you are changing, if you are buying the new lens, and if there is a different mount for a different camera, and there is possibility to change that mount, for example, from the PL, which is used for Alexa, to AF, which is used for Canon-related cameras, then you need to add or deduct some metal rings, which are just there at the beginning of the lens, because the distance to the sensor is very important. And if that shim is not properly deducted or added, then it will not show the focus properly. You will have some difference. So similarly in rectification, if the timing is not right, you have to add 1 minute or deduct 1 minute. So similarly in the shimming, if there can be some 1 meter difference, so you need to add just, it's like in the micrometers measures, you need to add some very thin ring, and that will correct that. So in the rectification, we are also adding only 1 or 2 minutes to the time, and then it will properly reflect the timing. And based on that rectified chart, we can depend on that for the future predictions. And for that, we did this astrological tarot, or dialogue with the stars. By the way, very nice song by the Flames. Prashna. We have drawn the prashna, and we have seen the Navamsha. The rule in the Nashta Jataka is quite ancient text, is that the Navamsha Lagna of the prashna of the horary chart is in the Trikona to the lost Rashi ascendant. So it was in the Capricorn. Therefore, it shows that we have a proper ascendant. The ascendant is Taurus. It's not Gemini, because we have drawn a special chart to give us indication if we have the proper chart. So we are drawing additional chart at the time of the question. This is called horary chart or prashna, which can tell us if we have the proper natal chart, the birth chart. It's very interesting combining these two branches of astrology, the horary chart, the prashna, with the Jataka or the birth astrology. So if you have the Lagna at the border, you can draw the prashna chart, and the Navamsha of that prashna usually has the ascendant in the trikona to your Rashi Lagna. So Jyotish, the Vedic astrology, is quite analytic in opposition to humanistic astrology, which is more like overlay or superstructure, which each option is valid, is accurate, and it's more like art or entertainment or motivation. But here we have some kind of mathematical rules which needs to fit to show us the events. So we also checked few events related to going to US in Mercury period. Mercury is showing the US, and 3 dashas were showing that properly, and it was not changing the country, but it was only travel. Therefore, that Mercury in the 9th, in the D1, and in the D4, in the chart of travels and foreign stay and properties, was reflecting that accurately. So now we will see how the one yoga in the 10th house, this Venus and other 3 planets, how they are giving birth to few events, which we will discuss now. And we could also do what the other YouTube channels are doing, just some collage of the various symbols of the planets, signs, and the house, right? Then we can combine them in some salad. And there is also the other periphery where we can get this tunnel vision, and then we can reduce the one yoga in the chart to only one event, to what we know or what has manifested. But usually we have to remember that in the chart, one yoga can give birth to at least 5 different things, and they will manifest, materialize, depending how the other parts of the chart, like the Karaka, Arudha, and also the Vargas, are constructed. What they allow, how they allow, and when they will allow for those various manifestations. So we know that the father was the victim of the insurance scam here, and the native was helping the father to get out from this through many court cases. So we will try to see how this manifests. The first thing is that when we have malefics in the 4th and 10th, then the father is suffering either financially or health-wise. For the mother, these houses are 6th and 12th, and this is coming from the Brihat Parashara Horashastra. Even if we are ethically progressive, we are epistemologically very conservative, traditional. So let's see the tips of the tradition. Jyotisha is very nice because it divides the chart to the good and bad guys, and then we can assign these good guys to the elements and people and the timing. At least we need to have 3 perspectives: the house, Bhava, Bhavesha, the lord of the house, and the Karaka. We can also add the Arudha, which is like a reflection of those ideas on the mirror of this conventional knowledge, just like in the allegory of the Plato cave. So the Karaka is like the substance, is like a blood test. The Lord's is more like spatial studies, like tomography. So we need to see from Lord to Karaka. Normally it's 1, right? From 9th Lord, from the father to the planet representing the father's son, we have 1. But if we see this Parivartana to the Scorpio, then we have this 4 and 10. This could give some insurance-related things like 4th house for a property and things like that, and 10th house, which can be related to the finances. We need to go to the D12 chart. The Varga chart is like wide-angle lens. We are seeing the person and also the background. Rashi is like portrait lens. We only see the person. And Vargas are very important to make that Vedic astrology more serious, because now we are having analytical, repeatable, and falsifiable rules, because we are getting access to more details. In D12, we have 9th Lord related to Mercury, and 6th, which is 10th from the 9th, which is the career of the father related to Mercury. The father is physician. Mercury is the Bishak of the chart, the doctor of the chart. And then from the 9th house, from the father, we have 3rd and 6th house involved, which are the court cases or battle. And we have Mars and Saturn, which also are supported by the Karaka, that there is some battle going on. The Venus dispositor of that, it all happened in the Venus Dasha, so Venus was very important. But because it's related to Mercury, it's all about the money. And what is very important, it all started, the trap was in Mercury Dasha. And we can see that Mercury is in the 12th from the 10th. Even in Rashi chart, the Mercury is not very much afflicted. In Navamsha, it's quite afflicted because it's 12 from the 9th. It's like what happens before the curse, we could say, right? And because it's a Badaka house, there is something hidden. The person doesn't have full knowledge of what's going on. And Mercury in the 9th shows like very good financial proposition. So the main process of the curse was in Jupiter, Venus, and Jupiter, Saturn. We can see that Saturn, being in own sign, is also giving the results of a Venus. So there is this strong connection to that Venus. Now, why Venus is so important here? Because it's also the curse. One planet afflicted by 3 malefics in the Kendra. So there is this Pravraja Yoga, 4 planets in Kendra. The person was very spiritual to a certain age, and then this Pravraja was broken. And in that same yoga, we have also this Kalatra Shapa, which is the curse of the Venus. And this is the central remedy which is needed for that yoga. And then we are going to the root of this problems. So that was the father. Now we also get information about the younger brother who had epilepsy, and also the person lost the friend in the accident. And if we would pay close attention to that moon and Jupiter in the 6th house, we will see that the dispositor of this is the same Venus, which is, by the way, afflicted by a yoga for accidents, Mars and Rahu. They have Parivartana. And it all happened in Saturn Antardasha. Again, the Saturn, giving the results of Venus. So we can see that the 3rd lord of younger brother is Moon in the 6th. 11th lord of friend is Jupiter in the 6th. But that alone will not give such problems. We need to have dispositor heavily afflicted, and that is this same Venus. So now we can see how 2 independent events are related to that same Shukra Shapa, the curse of Venus. By the way, I have also collected some examples of similar events related to France, so probably I will be publishing the video about. If you are interested in that, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you will not miss that. So the nodes are adding this hard to predict and sudden feature of the event, because Rahu and Ketu are always sudden. They are happening very fast. And in Rahu Mars, the fire is quenched. And by this, the bombs or accidents or such very events with the features of this very sudden, fast. So Navamsha confirms the events related to the friends. We don't have a special chart for the friends. And in the D3, the Drekana chart, which is showing the younger siblings, we have the Saturn in the 12 from the 3rd house. So it's like hospitals, health problems. And the Saturn is again having connection to the Mars, the Yama Yoga. So we know that this is about the health. Now, from the health perspective, again, the same yoga is in the 5th from the moon, which is related to stomach. And we know that this person is suffering stomach issues, and they are related also to anxiety, to some psychological challenges. And we see that the dispositor of the moon, which is the Venus, is the same planet. So now you can see how the father, the relation with the younger brother and his friends, and now this health, all is related to the same Venus yoga. So that is the root of all those things in the chart. And they will manifest differently based on the Karaka, Arudha, and Varga related to those specific things. Just like we were analyzing the Navamsha, the Dvadashamsa of the parents, the Drekana of the sibling, and now the last thing is about the career life, because this Venus is also Amatya Karaka, which is the career on the soul level or the spirit level. And if it's afflicted, it is giving challenging this aspect. And we can see that this is the 10th house. So of course it's about the how you work, because the 10th house doesn't show the nature of work. It is showing how you work. And we could say that this career life didn't start because the person doesn't know what to do. And this is happening when the Lagna Lord is afflicted. And guess what? Venus is the ascendant Lord. Luckily, Venus is in the Kendra and Mercury is in the Kendra. So we can use the natural remedies. So even if there is the affliction, we know, especially the Mercury is in the movable sign and in dual sign in Navamsha, we know that we can change the situation. Even the person itself, if it's in the Kendra or Trikona, sometimes by the choices, by the intuition or help of other people in life, or events, like it could be marriage, or becoming a father, or traveling to a different place, or starting work, things like that. The many problems can disappear, and we see that this is really happening in the lives of people. But with Remedy, we can first of all be sure that we are entering to this core of the matter. We can make the progression much quicker. Also, if we know that it's all about the Venus problem, we want to get information about also that metaphysical help and try to get to that source. So we can do it by the mantra sadhana, some kind of ritual worship of that specific energy or person related to that planet afflicted. So we have to trust the bigger plan. Sometimes, even if we are in a very stressful situation, we are very anxious or depressed, the awareness of what's going on can be very healing, because if we find the meaning, if we know when the suffering will end, these two information are very important, and they are giving us the totally different now approach to this challenge, and this can totally change the situation and also relieve us from the stress. So that's it for today. Thanks guys for watching and being here with me on this channel. I would like to have your chart analyzed on Zoom 60 or 90 minutes, the remedy, the dashas, the yogas, what's going on in your chart, providing the main remedy for blocking the negative, strengthening the good guys in your chart, and providing the tips in career life, relationship, and health. Then hit me up and we can schedule the consultation for you. And you have seen how much we have used Navamsha. If you'd like to learn how to rectify this, then please consider watching this one here.